Hello, my name is Ariel Taylor. I'm going to apologize first because I am very nauseous and sorry about that. We are going to look at a case of a little boy who was only 2 years old, named Liam Fee. He tragically died before he even got a time to spend and enough time on Earth with us and everything. The case is very sad and may question a lot of our opinions of why didn't they get them sooner? Why didn't certain staff try to just remove them from the home and stuff? And it does not just involve one kid; it involves three of them. So as we look into the case, we know that Rachel and Naomi Fee were the people that were responsible to care for these three children and stuff, but this case is going to mainly focus on Liam Fee, who where they conflicted abuse and torture and everything against him, and he couldn't fight back. So here's the summary of it. So they Liam Fee. Sorry, I'm trying to look at this also. So Liam Fee was placed in the hands who took over ownership and caring and stuff of Rachel and Naomi Fee. It's kind of concerning because eventually they did start to joke around and saying that they hoped to get the same cell together and everything, and just did not sit right. So what we learned is that the abuse of Liam took multiple years. They really just built it up where he was in cages. They were beating him. The boy went to school and the daycare noticed that he was happy in the beginning and stuff, and then all of a sudden he was not a happy little boy anymore. Liam died on Saturday, March 22nd, 2014. And what makes it kind of weird is that Rachel and Naomi tried to blame another boy that was living in the home on Leah's death because of an incident that they said that the little boy had covered Liam's mouth, and it's because Liam was crying and stuff, and I guess the little boy got upset and stuff, and he clearly he wasn't trying to hurt him. He was just like, look it, this is what's going on. Da 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 da. Liam didn't understand. Later on, when they had a doctor's appointment, doctors noticed, Liam's coming in with a lot of injuries right now. And at one point, it was about 30 injuries on top of his body. On his body. They also said that the doctors found Liam that had suffered a ruptured heart from a blow or multiple blows to his body. And he also had some He also had multiple fractures around his body and stuff. As we look towards in the news article and stuff, we can see that they made they had beds for the kids to sleep in. Sadly, they were not sleeping in them. They were in makeshift cage. So we all know how the bed comes and stuff, and then they have like the little frame for you to put a mattress on, but then they got the little wooden parts, or sometimes they have a real like metal parts around it to keep the mattress from falling. Well, that's where the kids would sleep. That's where they would sleep. That's where sometimes they got tortured. They would stay in there for long periods of time and stuff and everything. I'm sorry, you guys. So they eventually, Naomi and Rachel just really did not want to be bothered with the kids. You know, in my opinion, if you don't want to be bothered with kids, don't have them. Give them for adoption. Put them in the foster care system. I mean, yeah, it won't be. Sometimes you don't get the best foster care homes and stuff, but they'll eventually find the right one and stuff. So the police, when they searched the home and stuff, they also found like things like cable ties and ropes and chain sorry, and another metal cage. These are all very substantial to the physical abuse that Liam and the other two boys took, but mainly Liam during this time. It did take the police and everything a good 5 months to get the evidence for the charges and stuff and everything, and they took a lot of pictures and stuff, as you can see when you look at the article. Sorry. The court hearing took seven days to interview and videotape interviews with the little boys and get their statements and stuff. And we all know how tragic this can be for a kid. So we all know how tragic this can be for kids, especially if they lose someone they love and everything. It's going to take a while, especially in child abuse cases. It's going to take a really long time for a lot of kids to open up and listen, because sometimes the people that are hurting them may tell them, oh, you tell someone that I did this, and this. Oh, you tell someone that I hit you and you didn't walk in front of the doorknob, I'm gonna beat you, or I may strangle you, or stuff like that. So I can see where it took them a while just for the boys to open up and understand that they are in a safe environment, that Rachel and Liam Free will not hurt them anymore. So in the beginning, we mentioned about the daycare. The daycare says that they noticed that Leon was very happy when he started. Eventually, they start getting concerns and stuff. They make their mandated report and stuff like they're supposed to do. But it takes a few days to really just get it seen. Which is a very huge issue when you're trying to save a kid's life. The Rachel and Naomi made it look very happy in the home, like they were not abusing the children that they held in their house. And in some cases a lot of cases they can pull it off because they're smart enough, they know how to beat the child where it doesn't show any marks. And trust me, because in the scenario with my sister and me, when we grew up in foster care, because we got taken away from our parents and everything. At our last home, we were switching between the family that we got adopted into to another family. So we would go on weeks and weekends on end and stuff to another lady's house. And we were really terrified. But because we were too young to really say anything, we didn't believe they were going to listen to us and stuff. And I'm gonna say, thank God we were really light-skinned, because we were very white, pale-looking kids. I was already very malnutritioned kid as it was in the first place. So the lady ended up beating my sister, and she beat her where at first it doesn't look like we had got beat or anything and stuff, because she didn't do it in obvious places like arms and legs and the face, the neck. She beat her on the back. And the reason I said thank God we were light like this, because you were able to see the big bluish purple mark on the back of her and stuff. And for that time, we did not go back to that house. And when we got adopted, her foster care license got revoked, or however they place kids with you get revoked, and you don't get to have kids in your home. And I do believe that eventually her child did get removed from her home also. Okay, so the reason why I picked this topic is because that it relates to the chapter 3, child physical abuse and our violence and maltreatment in intimate relations book. And what it says about physical abuse, well, the definition for child physical abuse, or physical abuse in general, is that physical abuse is when, okay, it says the definition of physical abuse, child physical abuse, is not easy. It's not easy to contest. Sorry. Sorry, this is. Sorry. So the definition of physical abuse, I want to say, to me, it means that it's any time when there's a mark or a severe mark on the body. But by the nspcc.org, it says physical abuse is when someone hurts or harms a child or young person on purpose, which includes hitting with hands or objects, slapping and punching. And in this case, I'm trying not to throw up so badly. In this case, they physically tortured Liam by basically they physically tortured Liam by basically putting him in a cage and beating him and he had multiple breaks in his bones. When we look at the book, we notice that according to the book, it says that the National Child Abuse and Neglect Data System, NCANDS, says approximately 3 million children were reported for abuse to the CPS in 2004. This number has remained remarkably stable for the last several years. 20 years ago, for example, about 3.14 million suspicious cases of abuse were reported to CPS. USDHHS 2016. In this case, this is really sad because if they didn't get caught, it would just be swept under the rug and stuff. And so many abusers get to walk free, and they don't get charged for their violence acts against the kids. Some characters that we may notice from a child, if they were physically abused at a young age, so they may not talk. They may not talk to you for a while. They may scream or cry. Try to touch them. I know in my case, I'm sorry, when me and my sibling was getting physically abused, we kind of just tried to stay back and stay with our foster parents for the weekend. We would try to say, no, can we just stay here and stuff, but clearly we were just 4, 5, maybe 6 or 7 years old, so we really don't get a choice. You don't get a choice where you want to go until you're 12 years old, which is really sad. Like 11 or 12 years old, which is really sad, because sometimes I understand that sometimes it can be that parents can coerce their child in what to say and stuff, so that the parent can get what they want. So, some reasons why some reasons why parents may abuse is because they may feel like they may not get caught. This may be a repeated cycle that continues, and say like, okay, they got abused, so basically great grandpa got abused and stuff by his dad, then they eventually abuse their son, and it keeps on going until it gets to dad and mom. Dad just goes, okay, you know what, this is all I've seen in my household. So clearly, because no one came in and stopped it, this is okay to do, which is not. So he goes and uses his kids, and eventually they do get caught up. Well, now we know that they got caught. Now they know that it's wrong. But there's no conflict for the parents that did it before, because they may be dead, or in some cases they may have dementia, or or another problem that affects their brain. Once again, I want to apologize. I am very nauseous. I am trying to do this as best I can without throwing up on camera and stuff. And if I have to, I'll upload another one and stuff. But in this case, to re-wrap up, Liam P is no longer with us, and his parents are in jail for a good while. Let's try to end the abuse and stuff, even though it is impossible, and I really wish we can, but let's try to end it the best way we can. And as we hope, we will try to teach more people about what they can and cannot do, and try to help and inform the police department and everybody that's in the social working or anything that has to do with that has to do the gosh, mandated reporter